I'm Cara Brown. I'm a comic artist and writer. Well, I made my first comic probably, I was quite young. I think I was about 15 or 16. My first proper comic anyway, like where I actually finished it. Was making comics ever since then. I was always really interested in art, like since I was really young. I just always knew I would be doing it, like no matter what. I mean, I did read a lot of manga and like watch a lot of like cartoons and stuff like that. I never really thought I could make a comic because I did try a lot when I was quite young, and I could never like get past the point of just a huge idea, and it would just never come into fruition because I would just plan out such a long idea and never know how to actually get it done. I suppose when I started making comics properly, I started doing like really short comic strips, wouldn't take much time, and I could say that I'd finished it without having too much to think about. Like I could just get it over and done with, and then I could say I'd finished one. And then once you've done that, it's a rolling kind of effect. Once you've finished one, you can like say to yourself, yeah, I've done one. If I can do one, I can do more. It's kind of like stretching a muscle, I'd say. Especially with the drawing aspect of it. Like you can write however many stories you want, but to actually make them into a full comic and have it fully colored and realized in a full format. For me, I find it quite therapeutic because Everything's Fine was the first proper one that I don't know if I would say promote, but the first one that I kind of like put out there properly. So that was kind of a challenge. I really do like self-publishing because it just gives you all the kind of control. No one has to say, yeah, you can do it, or no one has to give you any green lights. You just do it. I just made it because I felt like I kind of had to. At that time, I was like really struggling with seeing what I kind of wanted for the future, and like I kind of struggled knowing how I felt about everything that I'd been through. Even if it's just like the smallest things, I just didn't have an opinion, and I was like, why don't I? And then I was kind of delving into the things that had happened through my life, and then I was just like, I need to draw this, and then I drew it, and then I finally kind of like came like everything kind of like processed properly. It was quite useful, kind of finally understand what all these things have meant, and like, or not even looking for meaning, just looking for just a validation of those experiences, I suppose.
You've hit a chord with an audience that also finds it relatable to an extent.
Mm.
How do you feel about the reception that the comics gotten since you've like put it out there?
Well, I kind of find it. I didn't expect that really because like I said, I made it for myself. I didn't really know I would be self-publishing it and then actually sharing it at conventions and things like that. It kind of made me realize like we're all kind of like living in very similar circumstances, or we're all experiencing the same kind of world. People gravitate towards people if people have shared experiences, or like it just kind of makes it kind of more normalized to like speak about what you think about things and how you feel about things. And I like that. And I think a lot of people are afraid to do that, especially in comics. In comics, like there's a lot of like superheroes, like a lot of fiction, and kind of bringing in your own experiences can be quite vulnerable. So I think it's something that people appreciate in the long run. When I was drawing, like I was obsessively drawing it. Like I was drawing it every single day, like all day, which wasn't very nice for the people around me. But it became obsessive, so I was just kind of like locked in. That's why I didn't do any thumbnails or anything. I remember like physically just like shaking as I was drawing it, just because it was just like, oh my god, this is so intense. Like this really happened. Wow. And like, yeah, it was kind of intense in that way, but I didn't struggle to get up in the morning and actually get to it because I was like so obsessively into it. So if Everything's Fine, it was all the line art was all traditional, and then I just colored it digitally. And I think that was important actually for this comic, because just to like feel the paper, not have a perfectionist kind of standpoint on it, because for some comics that I do digital, you can zoom in and you can erase, and you can do so many things, where with traditional you it's probably best if you don't, like it's you can, but it's just like extra effort. And just to have like a more raw feeling to it, I felt like that's what made me get through it so quickly as well, because I did produce it really quickly. That's why I was so into it, because I just like let the energy take over. But having it traditional really made it what it is, I suppose, because it could have been like the artwork could have been so beautiful and all this kind of stuff, but like I just wanted to portray what happened and like how I felt. It was purely just like getting it on there. I mean, my experience in uni was like I was surrounded by so many amazing artists. I just remember like some tutors would just compare like a lot of stuff. I didn't really like that because like I was happy. I was quite happy with my work, and then for people to tear it down, it was like, ah, okay, okay. But I mean, it makes sense because they want you to get better. But definitely through doing this project, I was like, if people outside of uni like it, then what does that mean, you know? What I mainly got from uni was like meeting people. I don't know if I can put a price on that at the same time, but it depends what you put into it because if you stay a hermit and don't really talk to many people, it might not help you that much. All the skills you can learn in other places anyway. You can like learn online, you can wherever. I don't know. I don't know if I haven't had many people, criticize that I've had an art degree. I mean, a degree is better than no degree, isn't it? But I definitely had like a good experience overall. So like the people I've met are quite irreplaceable. So it's just like I think it was worth it for me. Yeah, I think everyone should just do what feels right for them. If you try and go to events and stuff, especially for comics, like going to art uni is not going to be necessary, I don't think. When I was going into uni, when I was trying to choose what to do, it was such a struggle because I have so many passions and like I could have gone to uni for music. I was considering doing animation, all this kind of stuff, and I think I ultimately landed on comic and concept art just because they have a lot of transferable skills. If you study that, you can do storyboards, you can do all sorts. You learn about storytelling and all this. So that's all very useful. And concept art, everything kind of needs concept art. So and you basically learn all the fundamentals anyway. Just go with what feels right in the moment. Every Liverpool comic artist I know, they all live in London. So but I'm gonna be trying to like find more. Like I'm thinking of ways. I'm thinking of ways because there are gonna be people out there. You just need to find them because they probably all think they're alone. I can't wait to go to more conventions. Like just they're just so amazing. Like I've never been happier than when I'm at a convention. Conventions like Thought Bubble are like so it's so about comics. Like it's not about pop culture. It's just about comics. And that's what I love so much about it because it's just a place where everyone who actually makes comics and actually is interested in comics can actually go because most of the big conventions aren't really about comics anymore. They're about movies and film and all the people who come as guests are all actors and things like that. So it's a bit less about comics now. It's pretty rare you'll find like a comic booth at places like MCM and stuff like that. We need to keep conventions like Thought Bubble alive. And I think they are. Like Thought Bubble has never been as huge as it's been now, I feel. Star was it was kind of just a short little one shot idea that I had, kind of reflecting on like because I do music as well. I wanted to kind of like bring those worlds together, like the music industry and comics. I don't know how I ended up writing it, but I just coming up with all sorts of hypotheticals. There's a lot of toxicity and abuse that goes on in the music industry and pretty much any industry that has people of power in them. So it just kind of became what it was because it's one of those things you've got to think about if you're in that kind of industry. You've just got to have it on your mind just in case. It's one of those horrible things I think I had to shed a bit of light into. What people see is just all the amazing, like happy and successful kind of things that go on. Like when you see music artists, you think about like all the amazing things that they must have in their life, and then but you never know what goes on behind closed doors, and a lot of those topics are really relevant now, especially I'd say. I was kind of scared to release it, honestly, because with comics that have a more topics that are kind of 18 plus in general, you've got to have like a lot of warnings on it. So I was like really worried that like at conventions, like some kid is going to come and pick it up, or that people might respond poorly to it. But I think it's had a good reception. I think people are kind of surprised as well because it's like it's a bit different to my other work. I'd say it's still in the same ballpark, like very focused on feelings and unfortunate events, I'd say. I think it's something that I had to really release with a lot of care and with a lot of thought. And I think I did that pretty well. So I'm quite glad. Yeah, a lot of people seem to like it. It's horrified a lot of people as well, which I think is the goal. So I'm glad it's horrified people because these are horrifying things. It did what I wanted it to do. Well, my Instagram is I don't know how to say my own username. Cara Ashji. It should be it'll be here somewhere. You can follow me there. I post everything there. My conventions that I'll be at, my whatever new comics coming out. And I do have a link tree as well that has all of my like online shop and stuff. The comics I have next are very much still in the planning stages. Well, actually, I have one that's in production, but it's kind of a graphic novel, so it's quite long, so it might take a while to come out. It doesn't have a name, doesn't have a title yet, but it's kind of about vampires, and it's going to be a bit longer of a comic, a graphic novel kind of. So look forward to that one. I am working with another writer on another comic. We're not sure how long it's going to be yet, but it's still in the writing stage, so maybe announced later on in the year, or who knows, honestly. It takes so long to get this stuff done, so I don't really know. Can't really give any dates, but there are things coming. If you like vampires, just look out. But yeah, I think this one it's going to be very different to the stuff that I've already released because this is completely fiction. Like, it's going to be dark but fun.